Great, thank you, Alesha. I guess one question for Vlad, because he raised a very important point that you should start to think global from the start. But what if you already started locally? So should you give up, do something else, and start thinking globally from the beginning, or there is a way to adapt and to still move forward?
I think there is always a way to adopt. When I say that you should think globally, even if you have successful local business, which is very good, by the way, because you already have a basis to build something global, you need to think what from your local success can be easily expandable. If there is something very specific local that you cannot really apply to other markets, or there are some other strong points which are expandable, and then try to scale your local success on other markets, and that's how you go global. So in other words, think from the scratch how easy to localize your product, how easy to adopt, internationalize your product, those kind of things. Because you can be very successful local, but just because of the technology limitation, you cannot localize your soft, and that's it. You cannot go global, even if your business model is scaling, even if your product or project or software is needed across the globe. So there are some small things when you need to think from technical standpoint, but also from business standpoint. We are not living in North Korea, you know. We don't live like different world from all other globe. We're very similar to North America, to Western Europe. The principles of our economy is pretty close. So if you can be successful locally, most of all with very small tweaking, you can be successful globally. You just need to pay attention to that.
Great. Thank you. Now, yes, two of our speakers today coming basically from outside into Russian or Ukrainian market. And I would like to ask you about the resources that you use. So we talk about global resources versus local resources, because that's also a very important thing that you can learn from companies that come here, how they do their business. The same for you when you're going out of Russia or Ukraine. So if you can comment on the use of resources, Bas and Alesha.
So our model is very simple. We're an international company, and we have access to international technologies, international teams, international new business models, and so on. And our idea is to bring all these novelties or new technologies or advanced technologies from outside, especially from developed markets or US, into emerging markets. So, and then in emerging markets, or let's say Central and Eastern Europe, where you have 10 offices, the model was always the same. We got a top team that deployed this or executed this global strategy on the local market and brought and basically empowered the local infrastructure or local teams to get successful, or exploit these opportunities that we brought from international. On the other side, we are also positioned as a specialist for emerging markets for global companies, let's say UK-based or New York-based or Germany-based advertisers that are trying to address all these regions of Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East, North Africa, or Asia from London or from New York, because they want to centralize their efforts. And we actually can execute these campaigns not only through our offices and our teams, but also through partnerships that we've been developing for the last years. And so this is one relation. On the other side, what we are doing is also empowering or actually learning from the outside and building technologies internally, and then licensing these technologies in developed markets. So for example, HTPU is now launching a platform, it's called a platform for online and mobile, and we have some clients coming from US, from London, from Germany, and also from other markets that are eager to utilize these systems, because we're designed a bit differently. And also what you can do within the regions, or actually to expand from your region or Ukraine outside, you can leverage this kind of networks or connection of partners that have access to all these markets. So this is something that I was discussing before in terms of licensing your solutions or leveraging partnerships. So what you can do is you don't have to set up offices in each of the countries, but you have to think about partners that can work with you, represent you, launch you, push you all across these regions. So it can go both ways, bringing the top technologies or solutions or business models or whatever you can learn from outside in your country, and also develop things and push them out through partners or licensing it outside. And sometimes, as in this case, it's basically setting up in the office in the States as a global headquarter to exploit and leverage all the partnerships you have there and distribution channels you have from there across the globe. Because it's much easier than doing it from here because you don't have many global regional companies that could do that and help you to grow globally. So sometimes you have to think of relocating your headquarters, but otherwise you can do it easily from wherever you are.
Please.
I absolutely agree. I would like to try to zoom a little bit more into the practical element of what you have just said on the ground.
Yeah.
So to do that, I would like to ask the audience, and maybe I will repeat it in Russian, if we would say that you can divide the world in 3 slices, business-wise, in which one would be a company that sells software or a service online, for which you only need to have a computer as a client, and you don't, as a company, need to have local representatives. That's one type of business that really doesn't touch the ground processes. A second business type could be the same thing, but with the need of having local salespeople that will push the product, local support, and the third type could be something that's really very locally, intensively integrated, something like e-commerce, where you need to sell a tangible product, have a courier service, have logistics. Now, if I talk about those 3 types of businesses, would it be possible to ask the people in the audience with which type they are connected? So I will say it once more in Russian very quickly. Если у нас первая категория – это просто услуги, для которых не нужно иметь нигде в мире какое-то местное представительство, or type 2, where you have есть услуги, как медиа-агентство или ad exchange, который нуждает на месте селзы, representatives или customer support, поддержка. Or the third type, самая интенсивная, скажем, местность, то есть электронная коммерция, где ты продаешь, скажем, товары, допустим, обувь, как lamoda.ru. Я бы хотел от вас слышать, из какого группы предпринимателей вы, если вы в этом секторе. Вы можете сказать, кто тут из группы 1?
Поднимите руки, пожалуйста.
Значит, это софт, который просто можно скачать. Okay, we'll go back to English. Sorry about that. So that was group 1, just software downloading. Type 2. Okay. Type 3, e-commerce with... Okay. And the rest in the audience doesn't work.
Type 4.
Okay. So then my question is, and I think that when we zoom in on what just was said by the fellow panel members, for the first one, why would you need local representation? You can probably centralize. You say, okay, we sit in some nice Kiev office, everybody, and we will service the Chinese market, we'll service Canada, whatever. That's easy, right? That's probably the most headache-less business you can have. Second, and that's probably getting very close to your kind of business, would you consider yourself a type 2 business
Actually,
or
no.
type 1?
Actually, we're both in type 1 or 2 and type 3. So basically the type 3 is a service business. So what we are doing mostly is we have to replicate the whole business model country by country. So why we need local partners and local teams. So this is the service business is the most kind of have to be localized. You know? Otherwise, we have also technology business which can be scaled and quickly localized from our offices, but then push through or sold through local partners internationally. So that's the type 2 business. And the type 1 business will be something that it doesn't really require localization, it's per se global.